Welcome, everybody, back to the Pipeline Talk Podcast, episode 10. Looking into the second half, a little preview, a little update of where our teams stand, close pennant races, playoff races, and kind of where the playoff picture looks at right now. Excited to get into it as we're watching Sunday Night Baseball, Red Sox and Yankees. Rivalry kind of weekend, but wrapping that up, we're going to get into the talk right away. So, Paul, what do you got for us?
Yes, sir. We'll start with a little bit of a division races. About three divisions that are just about wrapped up. We got the Brewers have a nice, well, 5 game lead. It's starting to shrink. It was worse before, but we'll keep that one in mind. But Phillies have a 7 game lead over the Mets. That one's just about wrapped up. The Tigers 10.5 up on the Central. It's been wrapped up for a while, we figure. But then everything else kind of up for grabs. We'll start with the one that is tied, the Padres and Dodgers. Padres entered the day with a 1 game lead on the Dodgers. They've taken the first two of the series in LA. The Dodgers take it 8-2 tonight. So back to even out west. Just looking at their strength of schedules, the Padres have the easiest remaining schedule in all of baseball. Average winning percentage of 451. Dodgers aren't much far behind, 477, which is 25th. So, two teams are going to have a lot of weak competition coming up. They do not play each other anymore. This was their last head-to-head matchup. But both of those teams, while they're fighting with each other, are also going to be fighting for that second NL bye. The Brewers have almost about wrapped that first one up. If the Cubs can come back and take the division, they probably get it. But it's really a battle between the Phillies and the Dodgers and Padres. Whoever can get the division for the bye, avoid the wild card round. That's huge, especially if you're a team like the Phillies just lost Zach Wheeler. Uh, the erratic outlet syndrome, I believe. It's same thing Steven Strasburg had, kind of ruined his career. But he's there's different levels to it. He has Merrill Kelly on the Diamondbacks had the same thing. Came back in about a year or so. So, praying for him, but if you're the Phillies, really don't want to get caught in a best of three series, especially with really good teams in the NL and the wild card.
Yeah, and I think going back quickly to the kind of that Dodgers Padres little race there, I think the weak competition really benefits a team like the Dodgers just trying to get healthy, get some of these arms back. They've kind of been struggling recently. The bats more just not getting it going. They're still having good seasons, obviously from Otani. Freeman's starting to get back to where he's been recent seasons, but you'd really like to get some of these pieces back. Is Max Muncy should be maybe coming back soon. I don't know what his injury status looks like if he's not already rehabbing, but I think kind of this weaker competition. The Dodgers are still a good team. They have lots of really good players, but kind of playing these bad teams might be able to get their roster a little better and closer to playoff form.
Yeah, I think just like overall, kind of making a good point there. Um, the Dodgers probably, I don't know if what I'm gonna say is like necessarily true, but I guess in my mind, the Dodgers are kind of built more like they need the buy because
Hmm.
I mean, at least with like them being so reliant on their bullpen, I think if they played an extra 2 or 3 games, it could really make an impact later in the series. I mean, especially if that
Hmm.
if they were in the wild card, won it, and then went on to the division series, and then it went into deep into that series, it could just really affect the way that their dynamic works and what has been successful with them in the past. So
Hmm. Yeah, especially for a team like them where when you get into the wild card series, it's all hands on deck. You need to win those games to move on. But with that being the case, you get to the NLDS and you can't line up your division, you can't line up the rotation the way you want. Your arms have already been taxed a little. You get the advantage of the bats are a little hotter. The bats have gotten to see live pitching more recently than the team you're playing. But it's really not advantageous on the pitching side. And for a team like them that has guys just drop like flies in the rotation, they've gotten Glasnow back, they've gotten Snell back, but those guys, you could lose them at any moment. I mean, it's just if they need to, it's all hands on deck to avoid having to play in that wild card series because there is no breaks. I mean, the Padres, the Cubs, and the Mets, the three or Padres and Dodgers are tied, but all the wild card teams are great teams. I mean, the Cubs lineup scary, been a little cold since this break, but you don't want to run into them, especially if you have to go to Wrigley, which seems more likely than getting the series back in LA. Nick's nodding his head. He's like what he's hearing, but no, I mean, and no more head to head is really tough. I mean, now you just need to win your games and hope the other team loses. You really have no control over what happens on their side of things.
Yeah.
And then jumping, I like how you said the no head to head. That's same with the NL Central. The Cubs finished up their season series against the Brewers, winning the season series and taking 3 out of 5 in kind of a weird 5 game series due to a rain delay earlier in the year. And then, of course, their scheduled doubleheader. The second game gets rained out of that one, so it gets pushed back. Crazy last couple days. Cubs get no off day, fly to Anaheim. A little bad scheduling there, so they're going to be playing 8 games in 7 days. Don't really like that, but swept the Angels as of today, so looking very nice. Off day tomorrow, and then get the Giants. Cubs also have a weaker, I believe, strength of schedule, which could bode well. The Brewers, on the other hand, I know you have the numbers here, Paul. The Brewers, I don't, maybe not them, but I believe they have a
I thought
stronger.
they were farther apart than they were. I didn't think they
Yeah,
needed to be talked about. I think the Cubs were lower on that. I think Brewers
yeah.
mid-range.
But interesting for that too, because like you said, the Cubs just need to win as many games as possible. Same with those other teams, but you don't really have that luxury of getting to play the team you're chasing. The Brewers, on the other hand, don't get to beat up on the teams below them as much, being the Cubs of getting to widen that margin. So it should bode well. The Brewers are finally starting to look more normal here. Lost 2 out of 3 to the Giants, letting the Cubs back into this thing. So we'll see. They're the Brewers team, just really good pitching, really good defense, and kind of that's it. Yelich, I guess you can claim as a superstar, but I've still just their team has got benefited a little bit. Maybe it's the Cubs bias, but benefited a little bit from some luck, winning a lot like late game situations. Even that Reds series where they ended up losing the third game of the series, they were on the ropes. The game 1 and 2, they could have very easily lost those too. So hopefully things are starting to turn here, and the Brewers can become more pedestrian like we're used to seeing them, especially come postseason time, because they can make the postseason and then all just goes to garbage for them.
That's kind
Yeah,
of
I
what they
think
do,
it's
those that are also just the late inning comebacks. Like that's kind of how they're built. And yeah, it's not sustainable. Like they're just a well-built team. I know there's not a lot of superstars on paper, but I'm a little more bullish. I think some of the playoff choker stuff is overhyped. We'll get into that. But what are you saying, Phil?
I was just gonna say it could be a situation like I think what was it? I want to say 2022 Giants. They won like 102 games or whatever it was.
Hmm.
What year? But that team, I
107.
mean, like, yeah, I mean they won all those games, and then it was kind of just like all of their guys got hot right at the same time, so they just looked like a powerhouse, and then they faced like the other teams that are the best teams in baseball, and they can't continue it. So I mean, I understand what you're saying, Paul, and I can absolutely respect that they just have a well-built team. But at the same time, like they're definitely not as good as their record shows, in my opinion. I think they should be in the situation where they make a wild card, maybe win that, and maybe give a team in the DS a run for their money. But I mean, I don't see this team making a World Series run if I had to be completely honest. But I mean, you never know.
It is baseball. Anything can happen. It's always the hottest team. Luckily, though, in my bias and my defense, they might have already had their hottest run, being two
Mm.
12 game plus winning streaks, which is just crazy. But um, hopefully the Cubs can climb back into it. Brewers, we'll see. I think the Reds, though, are an interesting team to talk about here as the third team. Who would have had the NL Central with the best winning percentage of any division going into the year? I don't think many teams had that, but crazy. Just even the Cardinals are playing pedestrianish 500 baseball, but overall the NL Central has the highest winning percentage. The Reds, though, could be scary.
Yeah, I'm a big Reds believer. I was before the season. I picked them to win the NL Central, just kind of as my I didn't want to, have a blank, all the betting favorites. So I got a little cute. And they're just so inconsistent. I mean, I think I was doing some work today for something I'll get into later, but they have the worst second half WRC in baseball, just of everyone. Also, the White Sox are sixth since the break, if you can believe that. So good for the Southsiders, but the Reds, they're game and a half out of the Mets. And, the Mets have to play a pretty tough schedule. The Mets have the fourth hardest schedule remaining in baseball, average winning percentage of 523. The problem with that is the Reds have the second hardest at 533. So, I mean, they have to play some really good teams. So does the team they're chasing. They could just kind of hope that the Padres or Dodgers fall off, but that's tough. I mean, there's six back there. Both of those teams don't have to play a very hard schedule. I mean, they really are chasing the Mets. And it seems like the Mets are kind of at their lowest. Like it doesn't seem like it can go much more. I mean, it could always go much more down to the Mets, it feels like. You always think that.
I was gonna say I've been saying that for the last month and a half, 2 months. So
So it could always get worse, but it feels like they're playing kind of pedestrian ball right now, and they still haven't been able to catch the Mets. I'm a fan, but if I had to guess, I don't think they catch up to the Mets. I think the Mets will they'll crawl across the finish line if that's what it takes, get into that wild card. But what are your thoughts on them?
yeah, it'll be another one game 162 for the Mets if that's the case last year.
Hmm.
But I mean, Mets are a little bit interesting because yeah, we're just like fighting for a wild card spot, but the team has at least yeah, I guess the team in general has shown some life, that has shown some promise. It's just made it a little bit easier to believe and follow that motto. I mean, they've been slugging absolutely insane numbers. They've got 30 home runs in the last 15 days. They're tied the Yankees for first. They're the they've got the most in the NL over the last month with 44 home runs. So I mean, it's been good. Lindor, player of the week, the other week, batting like 540 or something like that. So I mean, and I don't know why, but the team just seems to follow him no matter what. But I mean, there's been some promise, which makes me want to believe that we can catch, we could potentially catch the Phillies, especially considering we play one more series against them. But at this point right now, I think I would just focus on making the playoffs because I mean, like we said, it's baseball. Anything can happen once you get to the playoffs. If we get there in a wild card, so be it. Like you said, the wild card is tough, so it's gonna be scary, especially if we end up having to play. I think we're lined up to play either the Dodgers or Padres right now. Would it be, or is it the
Up for
Cubs
the
now?
Padres right now, yeah, and that's a tough one.
Okay,
Yeah, that bullpen, they've had some rotation depth issues, but if we're talking just their one, two, three, that's pretty scary.
yeah, I don't know. I'm not as confident as I was to begin the season. That's for sure.
Hmm.
But I think it's like you said. I think it's just a matter of getting hot, and some of the offensive pieces are getting hot, and I really can't say our starting pitching. It's like Noel McLean has been a godsend, and David Peterson has been the only pitcher on the Mets who has been consistent at all throughout the entire year. So it's like if McLean can pitch like that in a playoff series and David Pearson keeps doing what he's doing, we might win the first two games of a series. And then after that, we're going to have to score like 40 runs a game because I have no idea how to trust the rest of the pitching staff.
Hmm.
Senga hasn't been good in a playoff start yet. He's only had like one, I think, maybe, well, more than one, but I don't even think he's had like 15, 20 innings yet in the playoffs. Mania, maybe he can bounce back and actually show some stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I'm in limbo right now as a Mets fan, to be honest. I really don't know how to feel. But like I said, just make the playoffs and see what happens because that's about all I can ask for at this point.
Yeah.
The NL wild card race will be interesting. I don't know if you already mentioned it, but the Reds will play the Mets. You have here September 5th through the 7th. So a chance for maybe one of those teams to either get back into it or kind of create some separation there. But turning our focus to the AL, a little bit more of starting to kind of see which teams maybe have a better shot there in terms of the division leaders, but there's definitely still some movement that could happen. I think personally, just looking at it from a broad scale, the AL is pretty open in terms of which teams can make it to either an ALCS or the World Series. I think you could pick like kind of any of them. The Tigers obviously are the top in terms of the record. But can that starting rotation do a whole lot? It's kind of Scooble, and then is it Flaherty? Is it Charlie Morton? Obviously, the Yankees and Red Sox we're watching right now, kind of where do they stand? And then you got the Blue Jays, who are a great defensive team. The offense is finally starting to click. Bo Bichette wants some money, and he's playing like it. So we can take a look there. Maybe start in the AL East, Paul. What you kind of think it's going to stay that way, or someone make a run here?
Yeah, we got the Blue Jays 4.5 up on the Red Sox. They'll play one more time late September, like the second to last series of the year. Just looking at it now, the Red Sox are down. They're down 4-0 to the Yankees right now in the fifth. Game ongoing right now, Sunday Night Baseball. If they do drop that one, they'll be five out. And I just don't know. The Blue Jays have the eighth toughest schedule remaining. Red Sox at 20th. So neither on the super far ends of the spectrum. The Blue Jays have it a little harder, but I think this Blue Jays team is very good. I think they're hitting as well as anyone in the second half, really the best. I think their pitching could hold up. As you said, they're great defensively. I kind of expect them to hold it. I mean, what a year from them, really. I thought they were a fourth place team in that division. I thought they'd be interesting, maybe not that great. I thought, before the year they'd probably trade Vladdy at the deadline, and then what do they do? They extend him for his life, and then now they're here. They are second best team in the AL. Have a 4.5 or 3.5 game lead, I believe, on the Astros for that second bye. They can probably hold on to that, so good for that. I mean, I want to hear your thoughts on if the Red Sox can pull it out, but I think their pitching's just a little shaky for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really good point. Their pitching is definitely gonna be their woe. I don't know. I'm trying to compare them to the Blue Jays, and I mean, honestly, the Yankees have not really shown me anything that shows
Mhm.
that tells me that they're going to turn it around. But yeah, they're I don't know. The pitching, yeah, is they're kind of in a similar situation to the Tigers, maybe, where like they're kind of I guess Brian Bayo's been good too,
Yeah, I
but
think they're more built for a playoff series than kind of this 162 right now. Dustin May's been kind of shaky. He's getting shelled right now in the Bronx.
mhm.
Garrett Crochet is Garrett Crochet. We know about him. We know he's a stud. Bayo has been very good for them. After that, it's getting tough. Walker Bueller's getting moved to the bullpen. I mean, I think if you get them in a wild card series, they can win it, especially if they get matched with the Yankees, if they put really well against. I think that'd be a good matchup for them. That's who they have currently. We'll see if they flip flop with the Mariners or how that ends up shaking out. But I think just when we're talking, over these final, 30 games or so, I mean, about half the time you could feel real good about a win when you got your ace going. We got Bayo pitching. The other half, you really just have to hope the offense can keep it up. And the offense has been good, but it hasn't been Blue Jays level. So,
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
I think looking at those two teams though, I even go back to the trade deadline. You have the Red Sox trade for Dustin May and Steven Matz, and that's it. And the
mhm.
Yankees go out and get uh to add to their bullpen and essentially have four closers back there. They made all the right moves, in my opinion. I don't think any Yankees fan after the deadline was like, "Oh, we didn't get who we were supposed to get. We didn't get enough." I think they did exactly what they were supposed to do. The players just aren't producing. So at the end of the day, it's tough to look at it and say their team isn't built for a playoff run because, in my opinion, it is. Having four guys that have save experience, have legit back end experience, and maybe not as much playoff with Bednar and Doval, but guys that have elite stuff and can extend games. And especially in the playoffs, we've seen starters don't go very long. Everybody's tired. You want to get kind of to your bullpen as quick as you can to hold the lead or to at least limit the damage. And Looking at those two teams, I know the Red Sox maybe uh, are playing better, obviously, but it might be tough. I think at least the roster edge, I might give a slight edge to the Yankees just in terms of what they did. But going down the stretch, as you said, Paul, if they play each other in the playoffs, it could be uh, bode well for a fun series for sure.
Yeah, that'll be really fun. I was so hyped for 3 years ago. The series, though, when it was still a one-game series in Boston. Garrett Cole ends up getting shelled.
Hmm.
That was I would say it was 4 years ago. That was a fun one. That'd be a fun three-game set. Really could be in the Bronx or Fenway at this point. I mean, they're a game. Red Sox are a game and a half up on the Yankees. Looks like that could go back down to half a game after this. We'll see. I'm excited for that one. For the rest of the AL, we got in the AL West, we got a really good one I want to talk about. We got the Astros 2 games up on the Mariners. They have one more series, September 19th to 21st in Houston. So one of the very last series of the year. Uh, Astros have the 26th easiest schedule or 50th easiest schedule remaining. Mariners are not very much, they're not farther behind. They're like eighth. So both teams have pretty easy schedules. They'll play each other one more time. I'm not, it's kind of, I can't really get a read on this one because I feel like the Astros, they've had some injuries. There's also some surprise performances. I don't really know how to gauge where they're at right now. Like, we just kind of know they win every year and they kind of shuffle guys and they have Correa back. They're not playing too great right now. They've only won 4 of their last 10. Mariners have been even worse, 3 of their last 10. I mean, I want to get your thoughts on this because I can't really get a read on who could pull this one.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that Seattle rotation, which was supposed to be like their number one feature, underperformed at least a couple of guys.
Mhm.
And it's made it difficult to kind of like if you told me like this was a position last year with the way they were pitching last year, I'd say they have a really good shot to make, it, especially with Cal Raleigh playing the way he is, stuff like that. Um, I'd say they have a really good shot to take it. But I mean, they're gonna have to lock in. To be honest, neither of these teams really just jumping out at me. Like
Mhm.
whatever team makes the playoff is a first round exit for me, I think, no matter what. So I don't really know how much of an impact it even really plays. I guess maybe it's whoever they play gets a free bye unofficially.
I think the AL is a little too cloudy to say that. I think like in general, the AL is just so much worse than the NL to me this year. But so I don't like I kind of think that I kind of think they're weak on paper, but then I think who could they play, especially in the wild card round, that I'd be like, oh, they're just not, they cannot match up. Not really anyone. Even if like the Astros had to go play the Tigers in a 5 game series, I don't think they're that much worse than the Tigers. I mean, I think the Tigers are a better team, but in a 5 game set, just about anything can happen, especially in a wild card series. Anyone they can play in a wild card series, I think they could beat. And I don't think I'd say the same if they were in the NL. Like if they had to if they had to go play in San Diego 3 game set, I think they'd be cooked. But this year, I think I really don't know. And like
I
you
mean,
said, the Mariners rotation underperformed. 4.03 starters ERA is 14th in baseball behind the Astros. Weird enough, with all the turmoil they have, if Hunter Brown and Framber Valdez and then whoever else can pitch, kind of. But kind of just two weird teams, two good teams, just kind of hard to get a read on.
And the Mariners tried to, I think, I like looking at the deadlines because I think it's big into kind of where a team thinks they're at. If they push
Hmm.
the chips in, they believe that they have a good enough roster. They go out and trade for Josh Naylor and Eugenio Suarez. And looking at Suarez here, he's been trash.
yeah.
4 home runs in 21 games for Seattle, but 29 strikeouts to only 4 walks. He was walking not a whole lot in his career, but 4 walks is pretty bad when you're kind of the featured bat in that lineup. Only has 4 home runs, 4 doubles. Uh, OPS of 611 is way below league average and just not what you want. I know they didn't give up a lot for him, so you kind of look at it as, oh, this was definitely a kind of trying to get him while he's hot and
Hmm.
he's having a career year, but he hasn't been good. I think it's tough because you want to be the hottest team in those last 5 games. You want to be the hottest team going into the playoffs, but obviously you need to get there first. And you said Astros are 4 and 10 or 4 out of their last 10, and Mariners are 3 out of their last 10. They need to get on the right track. I do agree too that the AL is just a lot weaker. I think it is cloudy. There's I mean, I know we'll probably get into some predictions here too, but I think it's the Tigers to lose right now. They're playing the best ball. They look the best. AJ Hinch has that playoff World Series experience. He's pushing all the right buttons, and their roster just like bodes really well, I think, for playoff baseball. It'll be interesting to see kind of between on their 40 man which relievers he elects to put on the postseason roster. If some even get moved, like some are in the divisional series, but then some are off or put on for the championship series. AJ Hinch, I think, is just a mastermind when it comes to that kind of stuff. So Flaherty's pitching better. I know he was pitching today. I did not catch a box score. I don't know if he pitched well or not, but the Tigers are rolling. They're my pick. I know that that division, we don't really even need to talk about it that much because they're just so far and away a better team than the AL's anyone in the AL Central. But shout out the White Sox. I was with a lot of Chicago guys this past week or this weekend doing my fantasy football draft, and Colson Montgomery's hitting some bombs right now. They are very excited
He's
about him.
impressive. I wasn't. He was a big deal as a prospect for a while, and then he got the AAA. It was just dog shit. He was terrible. But he's out Homer in his strikeouts. He's getting through that. We'll see if that he keeps that up. We'll see if he's kind of a PCA type where he can just out hit himself, his own issues. He's no PCA on defense. I mean, he's fine, but so there's a much less margin for error. But yeah, for Jack Flaherty, 5 innings, 8 runs today.
Yeah.
Not good. 4.87 ERA on the year. Yeah, I mean that's kind of why I'm bullish on the Tigers. It's Scooble and then who for the pitching. I mean the bullpen's been okay. Kyle Finnegan's been really good for them. He's pitched over 10 innings, hasn't given up a run yet. We'll get to our AL predictions in a minute, but I mean they're kind of I'm not sure where I stand on them. But last kind of race thing we'll talk about is the Mariners at that final AL wild card, and they have a pretty solid lead. There's a couple teams in shouting distance. We got the Royals are 3 back on them, and they'll play the Royals in a 3-game set in mid-September. They're 4.5 up on the Rangers, who they don't play any more games against. 5 up on the Guardians, who they play in just 5 days now. So, I mean, they're better than those 3 teams. I think we can say that pretty confidently. And they have a decent enough lead, at least on the Rangers and Guardians. Royals are one that they could they could it could be sneaky. They've won 7 of their last 10. They're making up ground. They're 3 games above 500 now. I you know that could that'll be one to watch, especially because they'll still get a chance to play them. So if the Royals and it'll be in KC, so if the Royals can take that series, as well just place how they're playing for 2 more weeks, they might be able to take that spot from them. That'd be brutal for the Mariners. You go all in, get your guys Suarez, Naylor. This is kind of I don't want to say it's the year. I mean, they're not losing anyone. Like Julio's going to be around. Wu, Castillo, Gilbert, all those guys in the rotation. But like this is the most bought in they've been at any point, and to miss the playoffs would be pretty bad, especially in a year where if you're the final wild card, you could win the AL. It could really be anyone. So yeah.
I think the Royals are definitely interesting. I like the Mike Yastrzemski pickup. I was reading and listening to some stuff that they kind of got a deal done 25 minutes before the deadline, and he has like an high eights or even low nine OPS right now with the Royals. So hitting a lot of homers in kind of a platoony role. But those teams, they got to get creative. It's interesting. I've liked what kind of they've done. The Jonathan India deal is a little weird, but he's kind of a just a weird player in terms of he scores a lot of runs, but his numbers aren't good. He kind of just has to find ways to get on base and let Bobby Witt and Salvador and Vinny Pasquantino knock him in. But I agree, Paul. I think that they could kind of sneak their way into the playoffs. I don't know playoff roster wise that theirs would probably be one of the weaker ones, but
Mhm.
even like a month ago, they had guys on their team that were just not MLB players, after the deadline, after some in getting some guys back from injury, it's starting to look at least like a full MLB roster, which they're definitely taking the right steps. They're a very young team in general, but at least at most positions. But I think that could be an interesting one. Devastating for the Mariners for sure, but if the
Mhm.
Royals could find a way in there, you're talking about the NL Central with a few playoff teams and the AL Central with a few playoff teams. Just kind of a weird year for baseball.
Don't sleep on the small market guys. Yeah, yeah. I think the Royals would be like the one team in the AL where I'd be like, they probably aren't going to the World Series. Like, they probably just can't match the firepower of like a Tigers, Blue Jays, even the Yankees and Red Sox. I just think, but I mean, that'd be pretty good for them, making it back-to-back years. First time since the back-to-back World Series, I'm pretty sure. So, I mean,
Wow.
that'd be a big step forward to them. Even with Bobby's he hasn't regressed this year. He's still been awesome. He's still gonna have like 7 WAR. Just the bats kind of step back a little. He's still been great. Salvador Perez is really kind of starting to fall off. But they've had some good performances. I mean, Vinny Pasquantino almost has 30 home runs. I don't know if
Yeah.
anyone knows that here. He's been
Wow.
very sneakily good. And that's
Yeah.
been, it was kind of looking rough there for a year or two. Just kind of got hurt. Wasn't great when he was playing. So good for him. But they'd be sneaky. I mean, I think anyone is sneaky in like a wild card setting. So I mean, they could if they make it. If they have to go play in Houston, they could win that. I mean, they could maybe not themselves make noise in the World Series. Get to the World Series, but they could knock someone out that very well could.
Yeah, kind of one of those things where they just clear a path for someone in a way.
Hmm.
They knock someone off. Like, I mean, I guess the Yankees have a pretty easy remaining. I think they have like one of the easiest remaining strength of schedules. But
Hmm.
if they could somehow knock off the Yankees or the Mariners, that could really clear a path for. I mean, even like the Red Sox, because I think the Red Sox, if they get Crochet and they get Bayo to they both if those two both pitch good, they could. I think they could beat just about anybody in the AL as well. So I think we'll see.
Should we get to some predictions then here? As the current playoff, I think you said Paul, but go if you want to go over the current playoff pictures if it were to start today, and then maybe we can make for the playoff predictions. Did you just want us to choose a wild card or maybe the final four in
I'd be
each?
down to go. Let's go round for round, I think. Let's,
Okay.
go through each of our rounds. So, yeah, the current picture in the AL, we've got the Tigers and the Blue Jays. They get buys. Tigers, the 1 seed, Blue Jays, the 2. Astros, the 3 seed, face the 6 seed Mariners. 3-game series in Houston. 4 seed Red Sox play the 5 seed Yankees in Fenway. That'll be a really fun one. Both of those really good wild card matchups. Out in the NL, we get the 1 seed Brewers and the 2 seed Phillies get their buys. 3 seed Padres play the 6 seed Mets, would be in San Diego. That'd be rocking. And then my favorite here, the 4 seed Cubs against the 5 seed Dodgers in Chicago, in Wrigley. Be a really fun one. A lot of good wild card matchups here. And then just a reminder, the 1 seed plays the winner of 4-5, and the 2 seed plays the winner of 2-3. So I've kind of got it outlined here. We'll start with the AL wild card, I guess. We'll go round for round. Astros, Mariners. I'll just go first here. Give me the Astros, I think. I think if you had to put a gun to my head, you can roll out Hunter Brown game 1, Framber Valdez game 2, or flip those however you like. I think the lineup's just performing a little bit better. The Mariners lineup's being a little cold. Suarez is really doing his thing. It's so far out. It's hard to say. It's any 3-game series, it could go either way. Even if it was the Rockies and the Dodgers, it's happened. So just give me the Astros in that one. How about you guys?
Nick, what do you think?
Just to make it entertaining for the podcast, I'll go with the Mariners. I just think they know that they can be better. Some of these guys on their walk year, they have a couple upcoming free agents. Turn it on here in the playoffs, win a playoff game, maybe have a little playoff moment, dramatic homer or something to kind of push them forward. The Astros win too much anyway. It's time to see them fall off. And yeah, I'll go with the Mariners here, make it a little exciting.
Yeah, I think this might be one of the closest matchups. I think that given given how the season has progressed for these two teams so far, I think I'd have to go with the Astros. But I mean, the Mariners could easily like have their starting rotation snap back it was last year and just have them absolutely shut down the Astros lineup, who, I mean, they've got a bunch of veterans on their team that are former All-Stars, but kind of at the back end of their prime for the most part. So that could go either way, like I said. And then, yeah, Nick, I mean, Kyle Raleigh could just have a game winner or a lead grabber in like the eighth inning or something, the way he's been mashing the ball all year. So I mean, I think that could be a toss up, but like given this what I've seen so far this season, I think I have to lean toward the Astros as of right now.
Okay. Yeah, and then we got the maybe the best Red Sox Yankees here. And again, it's hard to project. So just kind of as a if a season ended today, you got to give me the Red Sox. I mean, just kind of ownage in the season series. And again, that could mean nothing. I mean, the Yankees are beating them right now. But if you want to roll into a playoff series with Garrett Crochet and Brian Bayo pitching in games 1 and 2, got to feel pretty good. So maybe that's one. If the Yankees can steal one of those, get it to a game 3, maybe they're in a little bit of a better spot. They got a deeper pen. They won't be as taxed by that game. But I think you got to give me the Red Sox, especially in Fenway. I mean, there's not many places that can get rowdy in baseball. There's like not a lot of stadiums that really or atmospheres built for that, other than like Philly. But I think Fenway's one of those, and like that could really affect their play.
Go ahead, Phil.
Yeah, I think you kind of made a good point there with the if the Yankees get it to game 3, but I also think that their 1 and 2 punches can really get pretty close to the Red Sox with Freed and Rodon,
Mhm.
and then I guess Heel they've kind of hasn't been like what they really wanted so far in his first few starts, but I mean it's tough because their offense just seems to be like so underperforming. But I mean they've got Judge and they've got Giancarlo Stanton, Goldschmidt, Bellinger. Like on paper, that could be the lineup that I take, and they've got the experience as well, which I think could play a huge part considering how young the Red Sox seem to be with at least who their producers are as of right now. I think honestly, I don't know. I don't want to take the Yankees just because they've been so bad for most of the season, but I think I might lean towards the Yankees.
Okay.
Based on, I think the bullpen is the biggest thing for me. The Red Sox have a few good arms back there. Chapman's obviously been great at his older age and still lighting up. Still, just to be able to have a guy like that back there, I think is definitely valuable. But like I said before, the Yankees have the good players. They're just not playing well right now, especially in that bullpen. I just love the moves that they made in terms of at the deadline. Kind of, it almost was like they were prepping for the playoffs before, which maybe that comes back to bite them because they might not even make it, and the way that they're playing right now, it's kind of strugglesome. But I think maybe I just, like you said, Phil, give that slight edge to the Yankees. It's a little experience. They've got a lot of veterans on the team. They've got guys that have been to the World Series just from last year, but also guys that have played playoff baseball before. Red Sox have a lot of good players as well. Got Bregman in there and some guys with veteran playoff experience as well, but you also got some young guys who we don't know how they're going to perform in the playoffs. Always something to consider. Um, Sorry, Paul, go against you again, but I
No,
think I'll lean Yankees here.
I like
It's
this.
all up in the air. We don't even know who's going to be there at the end, but as of right now,
Yeah,
I
for
like this.
real.
And I guess let's just run through the AL and then we'll run through the NL and give our World Series. But so
yeah.
we'll go ALDS, Tigers versus Yankees for you guys, Tigers, Red Sox for me. I'll let one of you go first. I got to think about this one.
Tigers, Yankees. I think I'm gonna go. I think I don't want to be too hypothetical with this, so I think I'm gonna go Tigers. I think Skugel just dominates game 1, and I think their lineup can be a little bit more consistent throughout, a little bit deeper, I guess. I don't know if deeper is necessarily the right word, but I think that they can get more production throughout their entire lineup rather than relying on 2 or 3 guys.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think I just like the Tigers in general, the way they like kind of the way they play the game, I guess, is just it seems like they want it a little bit more, and the Yankees have just not been very strong.
Hmm.
I I think I'm also going to take the Tigers. I think they're just their lineup top to bottom is just very balanced. They have nine guys with double-digit home runs on their team, and just uh, Riley Green and Spencer Torkelson are going to get a lot of the love. But I think just in general, their lineup is like very balanced. Don't have like a ton of superstar names in there, but just in general, I think they play good defense. AJ Hinch loves moving guys around both positionally, but also kind of matchups, righty lefty. Kerry Carpenter has had kind of a down season compared to last year, but I still think he can be good in certain spots and kind of just an electric guy off the bench. You're going to get Rodon, from the Yankees, so that kind of eliminates maybe some of their big lefties. But a lot of the Yankees relievers are righties, so maybe late in games you're going to see some of these moves that AJ Hinch has done. But I agree, not getting too overcritical. I'd like to just see the Tigers win. To be honest, I like their team and get Javi Baez back to back to some good playoff baseball. He's very exciting.
I think I'm gonna have to agree, even though I got a different matchup. Give me the Tigers. I've been kind of working on this, it's like a prediction kind of thing for the playoffs. Just kind of my big focus has been the second half, like teams, what do they rank in WRC in the second half? What do they rank in starters ERA? It's kind of like what you're saying, Nick. I want to know like these teams post deadline. Like I don't want to know how the Padres offense has been all year. I want to know how it's been since they added Ryan O'Hearn, since they added Ramon Laureano because that's who's playing in the series, not the
Yeah.
April offense. And for me, both of these teams have kind of underperformed where I want to see them in terms of offense. Neither's top 12, which has kind of been I've gone back a lot of years, and 12's kind of like, that's like you got to be at least top 12 or so in WRC to be a World Series team, kind of. And neither of them hit that mark. They're both top 15 in starter and bullpen ERA. So they're pitching really well. Both offenses are kind of cold. Still time to get it going. But if you just had to give me one in a 5 game series, give me the Tigers just because they'll have the rotation lined up. The Red Sox, especially if they have to play 3 games against the Yankees, going to game one throwing Steven Matz against Tarek Skubal, I mean, you're screwed.
Yeah, it's just a
So,
You're
loss.
cooked.
yeah. So if you're gonna give me these two teams that I think are pretty close, I don't think the Red Sox are that much farther behind. Give me the Tigers just because they'll be a little more lined up. I mean, I can see if you want to see that balances out because the Red Sox bats will have already been kind of hot, gotten to see pitching, but give me the Tigers there. And then we got Blue Jays and Mariners for you, Nick, or did you pick the Mariners? Who picked the Mariners?
I,
Yeah,
I
I
think
picked the Mariners.
Yeah, and then Astros, me and Phil. I'll start this one, Blue Jays Astros, because kind of in line with this thing I'm working on, the Blue Jays are hot. I mean, they're one of the only
yeah,
teams to really eclipse. They're number one in offense in the second half. They're number, I believe they're top 15 in starter ERA, which is kind of what basically with the benchmarks thing. You don't need a really good rotation and bullpen, but you need one or the other. That's kind of like a lot of worlds, like the Dodgers last year, really bad starter ERA, kind of weren't getting a lot of production there, but it's the bullpen. So you got to have one or the other. The Blue Jays have the starters. I think that, and the offense is the most important part. They got that. Astros have the pitching. They don't really have the offense. I think the Blue Jays are a juggernaut. Give me the Blue Jays.
yeah. I'll keep it short and sweet. I'm definitely gonna ride with the Blue Jays in that series.
I liked what I saw from when they played the Cubs. Actually, it was in Toronto. Kind of a cool series, getting to see them face each other. But yeah, the Blue Jays just like all around had a lot of good players. George Springer hasn't even been healthy. If they get him back, that's another guy right away that you
Yeah,
plug in there.
he came
So
back what like last week, and
last week.
he's picked up right where he left off. To be honest, he's been doing pretty good so far, and I don't know how many games he's played, but yeah, he's been good.
Yeah, and he's good enough defensively in the corners to just like keep their team defense well. I think one of the statistics I was looking at, it had the top three like overall team defense as, and I forget the order, but it was like Brewers, Blue Jays, Cubs, and it just makes sense, just the names that are out there. But like Dalton Varsho is just sneaky good for whatever reason and kind of everything. I saw at bats against righties, he's hitting like an insane amount of home runs and slug against right-handed pitching. So just overall, I agree. I think the Blue Jays, I think it's their year to do it. Paul, it's just so interesting, like you said, like were they going to trade Vladdy? Were they even going to be competitive and just like extend him? Bang! You guys are the number one team in the AL East. So I think the Blue Jays, I think they're the pick here.
And Santander hasn't even been good for them. I mean, that was their
Yeah.
big offseason move.
Yeah,
Been
true.
no good. He's been hurt for a while, and they're still in the spot they're in. So good for them, really. And then, so that brings us to Tigers, Blue Jays, ALCS for all of us. I want to see. I want to get one of your guys' thoughts here first. I think.
I think I think I still want to go with the Blue Jays. I think they're just a stronger team in just about every aspect except probably the fact that the Tigers have Skubal as their 1-1 starter.
Hmm.
So that first game for them is going to be tough, but I I think in a complete series, I I really think that the Blue Jays have more just to win an entire series rather than just one game.
Hmm.
I definitely agree with that. It's going to be tough if the Tigers get to the World Series. It means that someone else stepped up, I think, in the starting rotation. So it makes me kind of wonder who that guy would be if Charlie Morton, the 40 whatever year old, is still throwing well. I know he's been better recently. I was listening to the Tigers GM kind of talk about their deadline approach and kind of the moves. They just went mass arms and hoped like a few of them clicked without selling their top prospects, which I thought was really interesting. But if the Tigers are to get there, it means that someone else stepped up with Skubal, whether it be like their bullpen or another starter. But I just think the Blue Jays, I think their rotation is deep enough. Um, you get a couple, like the Gosman in there, just going to be an innings eater. He has been for most of his career in the playoffs. If he can eat innings, you set yourself in a good spot. You got Castillo. Um, I just I like the Blue Jays a lot. It's going to be tough. If I hope those are the two teams that are kind of there at the end. Two kind of exciting teams that are kind of sharing the spotlight, but it would be cool. But I think the Blue Jays are who I would go with there.
Hmm. I hate to go chalk, but I'm going the Blue Jays too. I hate that we all have the same pick. That sucks. But
I mean, I think it's just like the right pick. I mean,
hmm.
like I said, the Tigers have Skubal, but beyond that, I think the Blue Jays are better in every other aspect of the game than the Tigers. At least they have been in this second half.
Yeah, so I guess we'll jump to the NL now. Let's go back to the wild cards. We got Cubs and Dodgers in Wrigley, and I guess I'll kick this one off. And do I want to? Shit. Just
Paul
look at
hates the Cubs.
No, I don't hate the Cubs, but I am picking the Dodgers because they've just been better. They've been the Cubs, and this is if the season ended today kind of thing. So I mean, we're still a month and a half basically away. The Cubs can get hot, the bats can get going. Kyle Tucker starting to kind of heat up, right? Just a little bit. It was rough for a while.
It's sizzling a little. It's
It's yeah.
sizzling.
I mean, the
He had a
water's beginning to boil.
seven RBIs over the last 3 days. Pretty good. Pretty good.
PCA is kind of ticking up. I mean, they're not on the downturn they were offensively, but I still just think it's the Dodgers. They're so strong in a 3 game set. I mean, you're going to face Snell, Glasnow, Yamamoto. I don't know if we'll see Sasaki again. I probably wouldn't trust him as a starter anyway, but you might see him out of the bullpen.
Otani out of the
Otani can
bullpen.
pitch a couple, and I think Otani's got good stuff. He's been hit around a little, but I mean, I wouldn't want to face him still. I mean, in a 3 game set, I'm taking the Dodgers.
I think that I think the Cubs rotation could potentially give them a chance to go up against the Dodgers rotation in a series like that. I just don't know if like you said, we're gonna have to see some first half Cubs offense, Kyle Tucker and Seiya Suzuki, PCA. We're gonna have to see those guys just go on absolute tears again if they're gonna beat the Dodgers lineup. Because I mean, I witnessed it firsthand last year. The Mets had Vientos was like a godsend in the playoffs. Lindor was great. Alonso finally like had was like average Alonso at least in the playoffs, and he just hitting bombs. But it's just not enough to get past the juggernaut of the Dodgers lineup. So it's gonna be on the Cubs big three to see if they can really show out. Then I think they could give the Dodgers a run for their money. But it, it's it definitely be tough, especially you gotta at least win. You got to win two or three. I mean, two or three is harder than a 5 or 7 game series for sure too. Because you really just got to be locked in from game one. Otherwise, you're already in a hole. But as far as who I'm gonna pick, I think I got to pick Dodgers as well. I think it's just the way it crumbles, Nick. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm
it's
trying to
fine.
find the argument for the Cubs, but
Yeah, the argument is that the Cubs faced the Dodgers a bunch this year and performed very well against the Dodgers. So if we're looking at it as a Cubs-Dodgers series, I think like regular season head to head, you like the Cubs. Granted, obviously those games came in the first half when the offense was good. Two of them were cheese games that were somehow Cubs home games in Japan, which again I never I still you cannot explain that to me. I will never understand how those count as home games for the Chicago Cubs in Japan. But I digress. Uh, the Cubs in general, they're just due to rebound. Baseball is such an up and down. We've been on such a down um, for so long that we should regress back to the mean at least to average of to at least like score runs. The crazy thing though is with our offense as bad as it is, we've still found ways to win one run games because of the pitching. Phil said that our rotation would have a give at least give us a chance, and I 100% agree with that. Matt Boyd has been very good for the Cubs. His lone All-Star selection of his entire career. He's going to set records for like innings pitched in a season, and has just been great. Shota has been solid since coming to the States and just kind of gives you a chance every time he goes out. And then I think a sneaky number three, which you would have not guessed even like a month and a half or 2 months ago, is Cade Horton has been so good for the Chicago Cubs. He has the best ERA either in all of baseball or at least the National League since the All-Star break. Pitched another great game yesterday against the Angels, went 6 innings, 2 or 3 hits, 7 strikeouts, 1 walk. The big thing in the minors was that he was walking people and couldn't stay long in games. Well, now he's not walking anybody and he's throwing first pitch strikes like crazy. If he's your number three and can kind of be that wild card factor, get to a game three tied, and now you're sending out the rookie Cade Horton, who's just been electric recently. He could boom or bust. I mean, he could either be really good or he might start walking people, gives up a homer to Otani to lead off the game, and now we're screwed. But it is scary knowing like Otani will get almost 20 plate appearances in a 3 game series, and like that's something you gotta. Oh yeah, by the way, he could also come in and close a game for you. It's just it is tough. I'm gonna pick the Cubs because you guys both already picked the Dodgers, so I lose this one anyway. But um, if Wrigley Field has playoff baseball for the first time since 2017, some crazy things might happen. That's all I gotta say.
Don't forget 2020.
Yeah, I think that wasn't
not even count.
the Marlins. We lost to the Marlins in the wild card series, so I try to erase that from my
I just
brain
wanted to
pool.
remind you.
Yeah,
No, I do think they could get, especially if the offense gets going and getting. That's again one of the few stadiums I think you get a real home field advantage is Wrigley. That'll be rocking. And the Dodgers could lose Snell or Glass now at any moment, and next thing you know, it's
a
Emmett
bullpen game.
Sheehan in Game
Yeah,
3. Yeah, So yeah, we'll see about that one. We'll go to the Padres and the Mets, and I think you're gonna have to pretty easily give me the Padres here. They're another
sorry,
team that just
Phil.
checks every box for me. They've hit since the second half started. They've been able to hit. They're getting pretty good starts from their pitchers. The bullpen is nasty. We know all about that. I mean, they're one of those few teams that kind of match all those requirements for a World Series team for me. So, and the Mets don't. They don't have the starters ERA. The bats haven't really been there. It's just they're not doing it for not even the bullpen either. They are 0 for 3 on my metrics. And that doesn't mean they can't win a series. But if I'm trying to figure out who can win the World Series, it's probably not them. And the Padres could, so you're gonna have to give them to me.
I'll steal it and go quick too. It's the Padres. I like the Mason Miller addition. I think they made other good additions. You talk about Ryan O'Hearn, Laureano, kind of just filling out their team with good players that you know are going to make an impact either in the playoffs or at least for the rest of the season to get there. I just think the Padres their roster is really good. If the lineup can get consistent and start to even do better than they are, they're going to be really scary come October.
Yeah, I'll kind of steal a page out of Nick's book here. And I think the Mets have been so bad for so long that I'm just waiting for the day when it starts to click. And uh, maybe it's kind of come because in the month of August they've hit I forget exactly what the number is, but like mid 300s with runners in scoring position. They had a stretch of like 5 or 6 games where all of their runs came with 2 outs, and it was 20, 30 runs over those that week of games or whatever it was. We like I said earlier, we've got McLean has been a dog in his first 2 starts. Peterson's been good. Obviously, we have Diaz at the back of the pen. Um, Gregory Soto's been great. Tyler Rogers has been good. And then you got like Vientos, Beatty been hot. Lindor's been hot. It seems like stuff is starting to click, and it's just like I said earlier, just kind of in a weird limbo where I want to believe that it's like not a fluke, and we're really just going to start to like at least average back out, and the average of this lineup should be extremely good. But yeah, I don't know if that rotation gets us there. I mean, a wild card series maybe with if it's just Peterson and McLean, maybe. But after that, it gets really shaky. We'd have to score a lot of runs against some really, really good pitching. So I'm gonna I'm gonna take the Mets just because. But I think it's gonna take a real flip to really make a run to the World Series, like you said, Paul, because shit has not been clicking right now.
Well, bias is allowed on this channel, so I'm watching you too. But fairs. If the Nationals were here, I'd pick them too, and I'd tell you that Mackenzie Gore was going to pitch all 3 games or something. Uh, but so we're going to run on to the NLDS Brewers and Cubs for Nick, Brewers Dodgers for me and Phil. I'll just kick this one off because I don't think that Brewers are playoff chokers. Like I don't think they deserve that reputation. Maybe they do. I mean, they got to prove it, but they keep every time they've gotten a chance in the NLDS, I feel like they've kind of taken. I mean, they lost to the Braves in 2021, who went on to win the World Series. 2018, went to the NLCS, just lost in a game seven against a good Dodgers team. Outside of that, it's been a lot of wild card series losses, and maybe they are kind of chokers in that regard. But a 3 game set or a 1 game set when they were playing them against the Nationals, that kind of stuff, that's just you can't. It's hard to judge a team in that small a sample size, and like I don't want to call it bad luck. I mean, but like I just think I'm gonna pick the Dodgers, which is why I kind of preface with this. Not because I think the Brewers aren't built for this, but because the Dodgers are also just built for this. I mean, I think they're both gross, and I think the Brewers are starting, we're starting to see the real them, which is still a good team, but it's not 15 in a row, 12 in
Yeah.
a row. So I think if you had to make me pick one, I'm picking the Dodgers, but I think the Brewers could win the World Series. I just think both could. So I'm going to take the Dodgers here.
I think that in kind of a shorter series, the Brewers have enough starting pitching to get there. Their bullpen has actually also been really good. Just a lot of stuff at the end. They have really good bullpen ERA. I believe Craig Counsell went on record and said that when we were playing them earlier in the year that he thought that their 13 man like pitching, both starters and relievers were like the best 13 arms cumulatively in the MLB or in the National League. So
Mhm.
they definitely have good pitching. I think their lineup is so suspect. They've got 27-year-old rookies. They've got guys that have been like career 200 hitters, just performing way above what their career projections are. And Paul, I do think that they are playoff chokers. So because it's Cubs Brewers, for my sake, and yes, I will be very biased. Uh, but I'm gonna take the Cubs here to beat them.
You are allowed to do that, and you might not be wrong, so
Yeah,
I
I'll
respect
leave it
that.
at that. I'll leave it at that.
Um, I honestly kind of want to lean towards the Brewers because I think that their entire pitching staff is so good. But I really, dude, I have PTSD from the Dodgers lineup and their bullpen as well. Like I hate to like it's pretty selfish of me to just like make it about last year's Mets team when we suck this year, but watching the Dodgers just kind of like take the fairy tale run that we had and just kind of be like, whoa, like this is real baseball with a bullpen and what I thought was like maybe four hitters. Like Tommy Edman was the NLCS MVP, and it's like, dude, like if they've
Yeah.
got guys like that just absolutely raking in playoff series, like there's just no hope. I I do see Paul's argument, and I think that the Brewers have the makeup to be a World Series team, but I think I have to go with the Dodgers.
Okay. Then we got two Dodgers votes. We got one Cubs. I was hoping we'd get three different ones. When he said you like the Brewers, I said yes. I
Nobody likes the
disagree.
Brewers.
But
I don't think they
we,
can pull it off.
we've got Phillies versus Padres for me and Nick. Phillies Mets for uh, Phil over here, a rematch. As for me, Phillies Padres both fit all my criteria of a World Series team, but I'm gonna have to give it to the Padres just because the Phillies just lost their ace. They haven't been playing great as of late. They've been all right. I just think this Padres team is so legit. I think the bullpen is disgusting. You really need one or the other. I think they have both, the pitch starting and the bullpen to go deep. I think that lineup is better than it was earlier in the year. So, like, they may finish the year 15th or so in, WRC as a team, but it's probably going to be top eight or so, in the second half. I mean, I think that's just a legit roster. Give me the Dodgers, Padres, NLCS.
I think you said it perfectly, Paul. It's a AJ Preller masterclass. He went on franchise mode, turned on the trade sliders way up, and said, "All right, all my prospects are going out, and I'm going to bring back
Yeah.
the best value
We're
I
gonna have a
can."
lockout, and the sport's not gonna exist in 2 years
Yeah.
anyway. We're gonna go in a ring.
So, I mean, I do though think their roster is legit, and in this kind of situation, the Phillies losing a little momentum. Zach Wheeler was obviously going to be their number one in a playoff series, and now you don't have that. I think that is very impactful. That makes a difference. Kind of having that bulldog out there, that the guy with a bunch of experience in that role. So I'm gonna go Padres too. So it'll set up an interesting Padres Cubs, which the Cubs bias might end after this round.
Well, I'm gonna take the Mets over the Phillies. The Mets have just kind of seemed to like really have the Phillies number over the last year and a half or so. And like you said, like Wheeler going down is really big for them. Like I think Wheeler owns the Mets. I mean, he owns pretty much everybody, but I think that I really do. I don't know what it is, but every NL East team seems to just dunk on us no matter what their overall record is, except for the Phillies. We seem to play competitive baseball against Phillies every time. And I mean, it's the same situation as it was last year, where we just like, who the hell are these starting pitchers? But the offense has the potential to really just wear you down. And I guess the Phillies have a better should have a better bullpen than they did last year, which could make it a much more competitive series. But I just call it bias if you want. But I like legitimately believe that the Mets can outlast the Phillies because I do think that they're similarly built teams, especially with the Wheeler going down.
I do want to call you biased, but at this point, I don't even know if I can. Just thinking about a Phillies playoff series where they'll roll out, Christopher Sanchez game one, who's been very good, but kind of limited postseason experience, and then like Ranger Suarez game two, Jesus Luzardo game three, like just trying to like Taiwan Walker game four, like oh,
Hmm.
That's it.
like
Yeah, with
so.
Walker, it's a different story.
So
I
I
mean Wheeler. I'm sorry.
yeah, yeah,
Sorry.
but yeah, I just kind of worry about them. I mean, they kind of checked all my boxes. I mean, the offense is still legit. They've got a good bullpen now, but I really just don't know what to think with, losing a guy like Wheeler, that's brutal. I mean, we're probably not going to see an injury bigger than that for playoff implications unless, Judge's arm just starts acting up to the point he can't hit. But okay, well, I like what we got. We got a Mets Padres NLCS, Dodgers Padres, and Cubs
Padres.
Padres, right? Did we all pick the Padres? No,
No,
he
well, he picked the
Dodgers
Mets.
Mets, Dodgers Mets for Phil. That's right. And then I think I'll go first then. Dodgers Padres. Absolute war would be mayhem. I can't. I pray this happens. Um, and both check all my boxes. The offense is there, the bullpen, the starting. I think I'm gonna have to give me the Padres. I think they're just built different since the deadline. I think that bullpen is incredible. They've just kind of outclassed them in all three categories. All of them fit. They all check the boxes, but the Padres' offense has been a little better. The pitching a little better. So that's one that it probably goes 7 games. We'd probably have to tie Wade to a chair so he didn't kill anyone, or Trey Coleman, pray for yourself. But no, I think you're gonna have to give me the Padres there. Padres get that World Series finally, get a chance at it. They've come close a couple times, a couple heartbreaks. I think this year they'll get the shot in the World Series.
I'll keep mine short and sweet. But this is where the Cubs' magical run would come to an end. Which I think if the Cubs were to make it to an NLCS, it it would solidify and verify my or like the Cubs' decision to extend Jed Hoyer and like make it a part. Because I said before, making the playoffs is like not enough at this point. You have a superstar. You had the option and the ability to add around him. And whether you did or didn't, obviously we didn't at the deadline, but like you had the pieces to make a big run. So I don't think like making a wild card and then losing was gonna be like acceptable in my opinion. So if this is where it came to an end, that'd be okay. But I think the Padres are really good. Unlike your thing, Paul, it probably would not go to 7 games. The Cubs would probably lose in 4 or 5, but
Maybe
we'll,
six. Don't
we'll
don't sell
take it.
yourself
Maybe
short. Come
six. Maybe
on.
six. Are the Mets winning yours, Phil?
No, no. I watched it last year. I I think in my fantasy world where the Mets are this far, um, I think the Dodgers still beat them. Maybe the Mets can take them to 5+ games, but no, I think the Dodgers. I think honestly, in Dodgers Padres, I think the Dodgers win because last year I thought the Padres were going to pretty much wax the Dodgers. Actually, that's not true. I didn't think that. I thought the Padres would win that series last year against the Dodgers in the DS, right? And the Dodgers came out and kind of didn't really give the Padres much of a chance. And I think that's just because of the people they have on that team. They're just they're not just veterans, they're playoff veterans. And so even if they're like limp, they're not even really limping across the finish line right now, but they're in a division race. They could end up a wild card team, but I think once a team like that gets to the playoffs, something just clicks for those guys, and they just they know how to turn it on and really just be just an unstoppable force in the playoffs. And I mean, you got to give credit. Like they've been to the playoffs for how many years now? Like those guys have plenty of experience playing in that situation when teams like I mean, the Padres have like you mentioned Ramon Laureano and uh, Rhino Hearn playing for the team. Like those guys are having good years, but do they have? Can they continue that in the playoffs? Like I don't know, but I know for a fact that the Dodgers can play their best baseball in October. So I would send the Dodgers to the World Series against pretty probably anybody.
All right. So we got two Padres versus Blue Jays, one Dodgers versus Blue Jays. We'll let the Padres guys goes first, I guess. Nick, what do you got for us?
I
Give
just
us a
think,
how many games too? Give us a how many
yeah,
games?
yeah.
Give us an MVP too. Why not? Just for the record, we can hit a pipe. Watch the pod when it happens in 2 months. You know.
I I will say the Padres over the Blue Jays in 6 games and a sneaky, weird, but I think it could happen. Collecting 3 saves, Mason Miller is the World Series MVP. And
Okay.
then they make him a starting pitcher for next season. I'm sticking by that. I
All
think they
right.
gave up the pieces to do it. They're going to have him win him a World Series, and he's going to say, all right, that's cool. I want starter money now. So you guys are going to make me a starter, and then I'm going to get a big fat starting pitching contract when I'm a free agent.
I think that is their plan too for next season. That'd be something now. Okay. I'm gonna have to agree. I'm going Padres over Blue Jays. I'll go 7 games just to be different. And give me Manny Machado for that World Series MVP. Just kind of been the heart of that Padres core for, 7, 8 years now, whatever it's been. It just feels like, he's kind of risen to the moment. That's kind of what he does. Tatis, I mean, he's an easy pick here too, I think. But just give me Machado, kind of get that MVP. Probably gets him a statue one day outside the park. Yeah, we got two Padres picks, and we got Dodgers and Blue Jays over here. What do you got for us, Phil?
Great, just crazy to me that there would be a Machado
Padres
statue outside
statue.
of Petco
That's not
because
even
like
processing, yeah.
he's been an Oriole in my head, but I mean, yeah, he has been a Padre for a minute now. So, but yeah, I'm gonna go. I don't know if I want to say 5 or 6 games. I kind of want to say five. I want to be aggressive and say Dodgers in five.
Hmm.
And I think that I'll say Mookie Betts and World Series MVP after a really like tough year for him. He
Hmm.
just turns it on in the playoffs and he just gives them that run and gives them the ring. And I think Mookie Betts would be my MVP pick for that World Series.
I like that. Who was it last year? I know Edmund in the World Series or was he NLCS?
I think he was NLCS.
Yeah, it was
Or
not
maybe
Freeman.
Oh, it was Freeman. Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
because he had the grand slam in that
Yeah.
one game.
Yeah,
It was
Not even that.
crazy.
He had homers, I think, games
Every
two, three,
yeah, I
four,
think he had
too.
yeah,
like 3 homers.
Yeah, how could I forget?
yeah. He was nutty.
Okay.
So the NL, the juggernaut that we think it is, even though the AL is kind of wide open, we all had the same AL team, but then we have all NL teams winning the World Series. I
Yeah.
like it. And do we want to do quick? We can save the awards for next time too, but I like ending that. Anything else we want to get finish up this pod with? Any bold like one? What about one like rest of season prediction? One sentence.
I think Cal Raleigh gets 60 homers. I think he can do it. He's just got to 49 today. 30 or so games remaining. I guess let's get the 31 games, 11 homers, 31 games. He's gone on runs like that. I'll say he's got it in him. I'll say that. I think he can get 60. I don't know if he gets the 62 where Judge was at, but he's gonna have a good season, crazy season, and I think he'll get MVP if he does that.
Yeah, I was gonna kind of similar to what you just said. I think that Mariners make the playoffs and Cal Raleigh, I'll call it 55 homers just to be safe,
Mhm.
but he leads the Mariners into the playoffs, and that gives him the MVP.
Okay.
I like that. For our loyal co-hosts that we've had, I will do a Yankees and Red Sox prediction. I know it's technically playoffs, but I will say that the Yankees knock out the Red Sox in the playoffs. That's my bold take.
We're gonna make sure to clip this for Dylan.
Clip it,
You're gonna be in his good graces.
clip it, and send it to Brendan and Slade. But if that is all, I think we'll close it there. This has been episode 10 of the Pipeline Talk podcast. We made it to episode 10. This is awesome. I enjoy every week that we do these, and I hope you guys listening at home do as well. Tune in next time as we continue to get closer to this playoff push. Two of our three teams are hoping to make the playoffs. The Nationals, hopefully in the year 2040, will make the playoffs. So as we chip towards 2040 and the Nationals having a chance, continue watching Pipeline Talk podcast.